Good day everyone, my name is Lee Wen Chuan and my metric number is 281174. Today I would like to explain about factors influencing the demand for restaurants among UUM undergraduate students. Dining has always been a hot topic and a significant part of university life. Cooking in university accommodation is restricted for various reasons such as school rule, busy schedule, and so on. In addition, with the accessibility of transportation and technology, coupled with the greatly increased material and spiritual needs of undergraduate students, therefore, the demand for restaurants by undergraduate students is high. According to Department of Statistics Malaysia, the total number of undergraduate students in Malaysia has increased by 21.61% from 632,605 students in 2010 to 807,036 students in 2021. In addition, the number of establishments operating food service increased by 28.27% from 130,570 in 2010 to 167,490 in 2015. Therefore, with the increase in the number of university students, the catering industry inside and outside university will become a promising business venture. In this study, researchers found that there are 4 problems in serving UM undergraduate students in the restaurant. The first problem is the location of the restaurant. The location of UM Sintok is relatively removed, and most UM undergraduate students do not have personal transportation. Therefore, off-campus restaurants are too far away for students. Hence, students are forced to eat on campus. The second problem is that some restaurants have too few menu choices. As UUM undergraduate students come from different religions, races, countries, and so on, students have different eating habits and the restaurant menu selection is too homogeneous, which can result in some students not being able to choose food that suits their taste. The third problem is that the food taste in the restaurant does not meet the needs of university students. Most restaurants in and around UM Sintok serve food that is mainly spicy, oily, sweet, and not nutritionally complete. Therefore, it will cause an unbalanced nutritional intake of university students, affecting their normal study life and even causing various diseases such as obesity, high cholesterol, and so on. The last problem is that the food in the restaurant are too expensive for undergraduate students. Some restaurants have unreasonable food price increases that are not in line with price increases. Therefore, this increases the financial pressure on undergraduate students, a consumer group with no income. At the same time, it also increases the financial burden on families. Researchers found that there are 4 research questions in this study, namely, what are the demographic characteristics of UM undergraduate students? Do gender differences and UM college differences have an impact on the restaurant location, menu, taste, and price of food when UM undergraduate students have a demand for restaurant? What is the relationship between the restaurant location, menu, taste, and price of the food with the demand for the restaurant among UM undergraduate students? Therefore, 4 research objectives were established for this study to address these research questions. The economic theory used in this study is demand theory. The law of demand shows that the relationship between price and quantity demanded is negative, ceteris paribus. In addition, there are 2 types of demand curve, which are change in quantity demanded and change in demand. According to Chua et al., restaurant location is important because one of the strategies that restaurants can use to remain competitive in the industry is location. A strategy and good restaurant location can help attract many customers. In addition, according to Suri et al., the most important element influencing university student choice of fast food restaurants include the menu and price. Next, according to Alawat et al., the taste of food was found to be the most critical factor influencing restaurant choice. Besides, the finding of Wibowo and Teolong showed that price is the highest priority in choosing a fast food restaurant. This is because when consumers think of a fast food restaurant, they will choose and look for an affordable fast food restaurant. This study has 4 independent variables and 1 dependent variable. The independent variable including the restaurant location, menu, taste of food, and price of food. However, the dependent variable of this study is the demand for restaurant among UM undergraduate students. Quantitative research was used in this study. Besides, this study will use primary data and secondary data. The unit of analysis in this study is UEM undergraduate student. The study's population include all UEM undergraduate students, which consists of three colleges, namely COB, CAS, and CROGIS. Besides, the population of UEM undergraduate students is 19,757, based on the total UEM undergraduate student list provided by Academic Affairs Department UEM in 2022. According to Crisis and Morgan table, this study requires a sample size of 377 respondents to represent the population of UEM undergraduate students to obtain accurate result. The questionnaire for this study was distributed to the respondent by using Google Form. The questionnaire contains a total of 28 questions and is divided into 6 sections. Section B, C, D, E, and F of the questionnaire in this study will be graded using the Likert scale method. In the Likert scale, 1 stands for strongly disagree, while 5 stands for strongly agree. This study will be using frequency distribution analysis, descriptive analysis, and reliability analysis to analyze the first objective. In reliability analysis, combat alpha is a way to detect whether Likert scale surveys are reliable. The combat alpha score between 0 to 0.2 represent less reliable, and combat alpha score that more than 0.8 to 1 represent very reliable. In addition, this study will be using an independent sample t-test to analyze the second objective. Besides, this study will be using one-way ANOVA to analyze the third objective. Furthermore, Pearson correlation test will be used to analyze the fourth objective. The size of correlation between 0.01 to 0.09 represent a very low correlation. However, the size of correlation between 0.7 to 1 represent a very high correlation. This study collected 494 respondent demographic data through Google Forms for analysis. The researcher found more female respondents than male respondents in this study. In addition, the ethnicity with the most respondents in this study is Chinese, followed by Indian, and the ethnicity with the least respondents is Malay. Besides, most respondents in this study were between 19 to 21 years old, where the least number of respondents was 25 years old and above. Furthermore, the largest number of respondents come from the COB, where the fewest respondents come from CROGIS. In addition, most respondents visit restaurant 5 to 6 times a week, where the least respondents visit to restaurant 1 to 2 times a week. Finally, the most respondents spend 21 ringgit to 30 ringgit per meal on restaurant food, where the least respondents spend 1 ringgit to 10 ringgit per meal on restaurant food. Table 4.2 shows the cost tabulation table between age and how often do you visit a restaurant in a week. There were 110 respondents between 19 to 21 years old who visit the restaurant more than 7 times in a week. However, none of the 25 years old and above respondents visit the restaurant 1 to 2 times a week. Besides, Table 4.3 shows the cost tabulation table between college and how much did you spend on the food you choose at the restaurant per meal. There were 131 respondents from COB who spent 21 ringgit to 30 ringgit per meal on restaurant food. However, none of the respondents from CROGIS spent 1 ringgit to 10 ringgit per meal on restaurant food. The researcher will use combat alpha to analyze the level of reliability of the questionnaire in this study. According to table, 4 variables are reliable and 1 variable is quite reliable. Of this, the combat alpha score of the restaurant location, taste of the food, price of the food, and demand for the restaurant among UM undergraduate students are between 0.660 to 0.699, which indicated that all these 4 variables were classified as reliable. However, the combat alpha score of menu is 0.469, which indicated that this variable was classified as quite reliable. This study will use the independent sample t-test to test the hypothesis for A, B, C, D, and E to solve the second objective. For hypothesis A, the p-value of demand for restaurant among UM undergraduate students is less than 0.05. Therefore, the hash now A is rejected, and there is a significant difference in UM undergraduate student demand for restaurant among different gender. For hypothesis B, the p-value of restaurant location is less than 0.05. Therefore, the null B is rejected. This shows a significant difference in the restaurant location among different gender. For hypothesis C, the p-value of menu is less than 0.05. Therefore, the null C is rejected. This shows a significant difference in the menu among different gender. For hypothesis D, the p-value of test of the food is more than 0.05. Therefore, the null D is not rejected, and there is no significant difference in the food test among different gender. For hypothesis E, the p-value of price of the food is less than 0.05. Therefore, the null E is rejected, and there is a significant difference in price of the food among different gender. Besides, this study will use the one-way ANOVA to test the hypothesis of F, G, H, I, and J to solve the third objective. For hypothesis F, the p-value of this variable is less than 0.05. Therefore, the null F is rejected, and there is a significant difference in UM undergraduate student demand for restaurant among UM college. For hypothesis G, the p-value of restaurant location is less than 0.05. Therefore, the null G is rejected, and there is a significant difference in the restaurant location among UM college. For hypothesis H, the p-value of menu is less than 0.05. Therefore, the null H is rejected, and there is a significant difference in the restaurant menu among UM college. For hypothesis I, the p-value of the test of the food is less than 0.05. Therefore, the null I is rejected, and there is a significant difference in the restaurant test of the food among UM college. For hypothesis J, the p-value of the price of the food is more than 0.05. Therefore, the null J is not rejected, and there is no significant difference in the restaurant price of food among UM college. In addition, this study also used the Pearson correlation analysis to test the hypothesis of K to solve the fourth objective. According to the result, the restaurant location and menu had a statistically insignificant relationship with the dependent variable. However, the test and price of the food had a statistically significant relationship with the dependent variable. Besides, the restaurant location and menu do not reject null K because the p-value is more than 0.05, and this indicated that there is no significant relationship between restaurant location and menu with the dependent variable. However, the test and price of the food are rejected null K because the p-value is less than 0.05, and this indicated a significant relationship between the test and price of the food with the dependent variable. There are two weaknesses in this study. The first research weakness of this study is the sample size. The sample size of this study only slightly exceeded the minimum sample size suggested by Christie's and Morgan table, which is 377 respondents. In addition, a second weakness of this study is that the respondent perspective was sometimes not well captured through Google Form. This was due to the fact that researchers found that some respondents answered the questionnaire casually without giving it any serious thought. There are also two recommendations for future research. First, this study recommends that future researchers can collect a larger sample size to better reflect real undergraduate views. This is because of the large number of UM undergraduate students and their diverse cultural backgrounds. Second, this study also suggests that future researchers could distribute the questionnaire in other ways, such as through physical distribution. This study will have benefit for both the university and the industry. For the university, this study will serve as a reference for the UM management when planning the on-campus restaurant. This is because the study will help the UM management to monitor and control the on-campus restaurant to better meet and improve the satisfaction of the university student with the on-campus restaurant. Therefore, this will enhance the image and reputation of the university. However, for the industry, this study will help restaurant operators understand UM undergraduate student preference and plan strategy to attract them more effectively. In addition, the study can also be used by a restaurant operator to improve the overall quality of their cafeteria or restaurant. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for listening.